Here we go, here we go, here we go. Listen, I don't know if you've watched any of my past videos, but I was just a tad excited about the news I'm going to talk about today, and that is we finally have the sheets taken off the all-new, refreshed, well, not maybe all-new, but definitely refreshed 2022 Chevrolet Silverados. Oh, and by the way, we now have the biggest touchscreen in the market. Let's get going. Wait. Before I get into this video, if you didn't already know, I'm really focusing on this channel. I'm really focusing on bringing you all the news when it comes to GMC Sierra, Chevy Silverados, Canyons, Colorados, Yukons, Tahoes, all that stuff. I'm going to be the man that you are going to hear the news from first, if I can, right? So please give me a subscribe so you don't miss out on all the future stuff coming out, especially with this new refresh truck. All right, so I literally do not even know where to start. I'm so excited. Now, I'm sure, why don't we start with this one factor? There was an embargo where we were not allowed to know or see or hear about the 2022 Chevrolet Silverados until today, which is September 9th, a Thursday at 4 p.m. Now, I'd obviously got some information beforehand. Some other people did. Now, I was not privy to it from General Motors. I happened to see something online, which I shared with all of you. Unfortunately, I did it a little bit early, and that was needed to be taken down. However, obviously, as you had seen, many other people later had shared videos and pictures, and so there's a lot out there. But listen, today you're going to hear my point of view as what I'd like to consider myself the GM truck expert, right? And you can hear my point of view, and I'm going to just go over some of the tidbits as to what they've changed, some exciting stuff, and of course, the new ZR2, pardon me for my American friends. We're going to go over that as well. So let's just get this going. Very briefly, what I do want to do is just talk to you about, especially some of you out here watching that don't know. Well, first of all, thanks for coming to my channel. But if you don't know, there are going to be two different 2022 Chevy Silverado trucks. First and foremost, we have what we call the current one, where you can order as of today, right now, or yesterday. It's called the 2022 Limited, and the 2022 Limited Silverado is going to be exactly, for every intensive purpose, what the 2021 truck was. There's a few little tweaks in terms of what you can and can't get, but the truck itself, the way it looks, the way it performs, all that kind of stuff is the same as the 2021. Check just one of my recent videos. I did a video on that. But what we're going to be talking about today is the refreshed, where there is a multitude of changes coming to the trucks. Now, what we're going to be talking about in this video today is the LT, the High Country, and of course the ZR2, because what's happened is they didn't really give us much information on the lower trim levels, but there is a little bit I'm going to talk about. And at the end of the video, what I'm also going to do is tell you about when you can actually get this, because that's one of the biggest questions I've been asked is, Jeff, when am I even able to order this refresh? And I was getting this question asked before they even released it, of course, but I got that for you at the end of the video as well. All right, so I just want to kick it off by talking about the ZR2. So we're going to be talking about all the outside stuff. Then we're going to get to the inside, because what I'm going to be talking about inside on the LT and the High Country is essentially, more or less what we're going to be seeing on the inside of the ZR2 when it comes to the tech and the screen and all that kind of stuff. But let's talk about the ZR2. Now, we've been talking about this for a while, right? If you've been watching my channel, following my channel, or just following the news on this at all, the ZR2 is going to be slotted above our current Trail Boss. So it's going to have some similarities in the sense it does have a 2-inch lift. However, my understanding and what I've been hearing, it's a half an inch taller, the truck, this new ZR2. By the way, I'm going to be running B-roll footage to this. So, just keep in mind, I want to, by the way, thank the guys over at gmtrucks.com and, of course, Chevrolet for this footage. But yeah, so first and foremost, obviously, it's going to sit a little bit taller. It's got 33-inch tires now as opposed to the 32. It's going to be sitting on Goodyear Wrangler, Goodyear Territory MT tires. So, an aggressive tire, and again, 33s. It obviously has a unique set of aluminum wheels, which I think look fantastic. And then it does have the highest ground clearance of any Silverado out there right now, mixed because of the lift, because of the tires. We're talking 11.2 inches of ground clearance, and that's also due to the front end, which I talked about a little earlier, is the fact that it does have a steel front bumper, and it's got a much higher approach angle just because of the way things are cut away on that front, as you can see, much more so than any of the other Silverados. Very, again, reminiscent of our Colorado ZR2. And then it has the flow tie in that front bumper, which looks sick, number one. But secondly, is functional because it's allowing more airflow to the engine. Now, again, it's got the 6.2 liter naturally aspirated, 420 horsepower, 460 foot-pound of torque engine under there. But my thoughts are, and I'm going out on a limb, maybe not that far of a limb, but I do believe they are going to come up with a supercharged version of this eventually. But right now, in the efforts of reducing cost, we now are going to be cheaper than a Raptor. We're going to be cheaper than the TRX. So I kind of think for some of those people who aren't necessarily after that horsepower, but they want a bit more off-road, this is going to bring that to the table at a bit more of an affordable price. But again, that being said, it's already ready for some more airflow. And of course, it has that different hood, which looks really cool. Some other differences on this truck from our regular Trail Boss, of course, keeping in line with our smaller Colorado ZR2, it does have the Multimatic DSSV shocks. Now, they are such a high-end shock, and I can tell you this just from my small amount of experience, not small, but my amount of experience with the Colorado ZR2s, and I can ride down a normal city street, and I don't feel like it's rattling the teeth out of my head because it's softer. And then when I do get the harder terrain, it stiffens up. It's such a smart suspension system that it works whether you got your off-roading or whether you're taking the kids to school or going to get groceries. So I really like that aspect to it. Again, so it has the Multimatic DSSV. It actually has more suspension travel over the Trail Boss. So even though they're very similar in a lot of ways, it actually has more travel because of that shock. So that's a little bit of a difference. It does some unique skid plates on it. More skid plates and unique skid plates, as you can see, especially right off the front. Not only all that for the off-road, but it even has the differential lock, which I talked about in videos past, and of course our Colorado ZR2 has. So it's going to have the ability to lock and unlock the front differential. That's a really cool feature. Another really cool feature that I've never seen in one of our trucks before, recently, is the one pedal, not one puddle, go through puddles, but the one pedal drive. If you don't know what that is, it's basically a way to control the speed of the truck when off-roading, only using that one pedal, obviously as it sounds, right? So basically when you let off that, it doesn't just coast, it actually puts the brake on, not necessarily aggressively, but it puts the brake on, so you can just use that one pedal to crawl over things as opposed to going back and forth with your right foot between the brake and the gas pedal. And then just overall, the front end, of course, looks completely different. It's got much thicker daytime driving lights, which actually do a little bit of a sequence when you come up to the truck, which is really cool. What we thought was going to happen that didn't happen was when they're talking about exterior changes, aside from the ZR2 being, the hood being different, and but all the other trucks, it's just the front end that's different. They didn't change really anything in the rear, and you'll be able to see from the pictures and the videos, the rear end is the rear end looks, is virtually identical to what we've had. So there's no real changes that way. It's mainly the cosmetics in the front when we're talking exterior, and obviously some wheel differences as well. And then, as noted by the guys at gmtrucks.com, it does have a slightly different interior than what we're used to as well. A little more bolstered seats in there. Of course, it's going to have leather interior. I reported that again a long time ago as well. And I don't know if obviously you've seen the pictures, pretty much every picture that's been reported, but there's going to be 3 new colors of the Silverados this year. Again, I talked about this in a past video. They're going to have the dark ash, which obviously is going to be a charcoal gray. They're going to have the sand dune metallic. And now this is where it gets interesting, because when I was reading the GM Trucks article, sorry if I said GM Authority earlier, I meant gmtrucks.com. But GM Trucks has been reporting that they're going to call, at least in the Silverado, maybe it's the Sierra, they're going to use this name, Glacier Blue Metallic, which is the blue metallic we're using on our Colorados right now. But I had read factually that there's going to be called Pauzinga Metallic. So maybe in the Chevy they're calling it that. Maybe they changed the name. I don't know. I had originally reported Pauzinga Metallic. Point was, I reported it was going to be this color, and it is, and I think it looks fantastic on the full-size truck, having that bright color in that, more off-road variant truck. Moving away from the ZR2, I do want to talk briefly about the High Country and the LT, because that is really, again, all they gave us pictures of. And what we're finding now, and we're talking about the LT and the High Country, of course, we are getting that same newer front end that's going to be amongst all the trucks. That's my understanding. When it comes to the High Country, let's just talk about a couple things that are going to be different with the High Country. It is going to have a little more high-end interior, different perforated leather seats. It's also going to have an open pore wood, like we see in some of our higher-end other vehicles, Cadillacs and things like that, Denali. But we're going to see that in the High Country. One of the biggest things that is coming that I I didn't think was coming to the Chevy Silverados. I thought I was sticking with the GMC Sierras. And the Denali is the addition of Super Cruise, so that's pretty exciting. If you're not aware of that, it's obviously our version of the semi-autonomous driving that'll drive on major freeways in Canada and the United States. It'll even be able to hook a trailer up under Super Cruise, which is just a phenomenal feat. And they're going to have a whole host of trailer safety equipment that, we already saw introduced last year, essentially, but that's going to be carrying on with some more as well. And on the safety train, if I can just get off the high country for one moment, if we are going to talk about the more entry trim level trucks, they are coming out with a safety package that's going to be standard on every level of truck, much like we see right now in the Chevy Equinox, for example, or the GMC Terrain. And they're going to call it the Chevy Safety Assist. And I'm just going to rhyme off real quick what that's going to include. It's going to have forward collision alert standard, lane keep assist with lane departure warning, auto emergency braking, front pedestrian braking, following distance indicator, and IntelliBeam auto high beams, which I love that IntelliBeam system, but all those other features are fantastic, especially if you're going to get that all the way from the work truck trim level, all the way up. But getting back to the high country, of course, you're going to see, obviously, there's probably going to be some new wheel choices. And again, they have that different front look. But let's delve inside the trucks. And I'm going to talk about the LT at the same time. So what we're going to be seeing inside is the largest screen in the industry, as I said off the top of the video. It's 13.4 inches. And as you can see, unlike some of our competitors, the Dodge, obviously, which everybody talked about, the Ram, pardon me, it's more wide than it is tall, right? And I just love it. I mean, I was reporting, I thought it was going to be around 10 inches. I have that, and my wife has that in her Tahoe, and this new one is going to have 13.4, which is just massive. It's going to be so great for backing up your trailer, but of course with all the connectivity, and we're going to talk about the connectivity here in a second, but the largest touchscreen, and that's going to be on the ZR2, it's going to be on the LT, and it's going to be on the high country, of course. No word on the LTZ, but obviously I believe it's going to happen. We just haven't seen many pictures or information, or any, pardon me, on the LTZ yet, or the 2LT Trail Boss. But you're going to have that, not to mention in anything that has a bucket seat. So if you order the bucket seat, as I previously reported, you are going to have the electric console shift. All right, so it is going to be electric console shift. Now, if we're going to go back and talk about LTs for a moment, my understanding potentially, and this is how I'm reading between the lines here, is if you get an LT but you order the bench seat, you're going to get your typical column shift, pardon me. So for those of you who want that, I believe it's still an option, but when you go up to the bucket seats, so now obviously I believe there's going to be a higher increase if you go to bucket seats than before, because you're going to get that console shift. And then on top of that, from the LT trim level and up, you're going to get a 12-inch, I think it's just over 12-inch configurable, fully digital screen in front of the driver, which I think is phenomenal as well. So you're gonna have the 12-inch screen there, a 13.4-inch screen there. Come on, folks, we have to be now satisfying those techie people out there that wanted the larger screens in the inside, because nobody is making a bigger one so far in the trucks. And getting back to that screen, it is gonna have something called Google built in, which is going to allow you to basically get your apps by just saying, hey Google, which is pretty cool. And of course, we're still going to have the Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, that kind of stuff, I'm sure. But it is going to have a much more intelligent, I guess you would say, touchscreen. And as we go forward, obviously that's what we would expect, right? So in the effort to try and shorten this video up a bit, because I am going to talk more specifically on the specific trucks and more videos to come, I just really want to talk about two other big things that are coming for next year or for this year, or when I'm going to tell you then in the video when you can actually get these things. But one of them is there's a much improved 2.7 liter turbo engine. I know that excites lots of you out there, but there is a market for you out there, that I know are excited for this. And basically it's a 20% increase in torque from where it used to be. So it was in the 330 range or 338, something like that. They bumped up the torque of the 2.7 liter to 420 horsepower. And how they did that was basically by using a stiffer crankshaft and a fully forged bottom end. Not to mention they have also refined the shifting as well, so it's much more smooth shifting. All that being added together in a two-wheel drive configuration, this truck is going to pull, this 2.7 liter four-cylinder turbo is going to pull 9,500 pounds. Just to put this in perspective, our current 5.3 liter is only pulling just over 9,000 pounds. Of course, just depending on how you have it configured, but in a regular configuration, regular gear ratio, pardon me, it's pulling just over 9,000 pounds. So you're getting 2.7 liter pulling 9,500 pounds. Now, the other engine I want to talk about is one of my favorite. My wife has this in her Tahoe. It's the Baby Max, the Baby Duramax, the 3 liter inline six Duramax diesel. Basically, they have increased the tow capacity on this because you can now, which you couldn't get before, get a max tow package with the 3 liter diesel, which makes all the sense in the world. By the way, yes, I know I'm going to get the comments talking about, well, you can't even get a diesel right now. You can't. They're going to start building them again next year. And for the end of this year, you can't get a 3 liter. But I'm pumped on this. And you know what they're saying for the tow of this? Again, 2-wheel drive configuration. They are saying that this is going to pull 4,000 pounds more than it did last year or this year for 2021. It's now 13,300 pounds for the Baby Max. Amazing fuel efficiency. I can say that firsthand. And now you're going to have the towing as well. I don't know how you don't look at this motor, even if you've been a 5.3 person in the past. By the way, the 5.3 liter doesn't change. Of course, they've X'd the 6-speed AFM, active fuel management, by the way, 5.3, and they're only sticking with the DFM, the dynamic fuel management, made it to either 8 or a 10-speed, depending on the trim level of truck that you get with that 5.3. All right, I know I've been firing a lot at you, but let's just talk about the question you've all been asking me. And I finally have a bit of an answer today, at least as long as the world doesn't dramatically change yet again. But my understanding, and my prediction is coming true, you're going to be able to order the refresh trucks. I do not have pricing yet, so don't ask that yet. I will be able, or you will be able to order these refresh trucks at the end of this year and expect delivery. They say spring. I'm going to say late spring, just being the pessimist I am. Late spring of 2022. Again, as long as all things go along. I know I've been talking about the microchip shortages and things like that, but I think they have a plan in place. And I think part of the reason why some of these are held up is because obviously they're trying to, get the refresh stuff going too. So we're going to see 2021s, 2022 limiteds, 2022 refreshes all coming in, not far apart from one another. So interesting / exciting time. Again, I am pumped on this new truck. What are your thoughts on it? Again, I will focus more on the specific models in other videos coming up, but I just wanted to get this out to you today as soon as I possibly can. I know I'm all over the place. I'm excited. I hope you are too. As always, thanks so much for watching. We'll be talking soon. Cheers.